Oh, hello, hello. This is a quick study guide for our Unit 1 test that we will have on Thursday. This is a quick study guide. The first two pages are just notes, just reminders. For example, value of a digit, how much a digit is worth. In the number 265, the value of the 2 is 200. Place, where the digit is located. In the number 265, the 2 is in the hundreds place. So make sure that we are paying attention to the wording, value of a digit, or place. Another thing to know is compare numbers to determine which number is larger than another number using the symbols greater than, less than, equal to. The number 453 is greater than 265, so it would be written as 453, and here's our symbol for greater than, bigger than 265. The next note reminds you how to round. When rounding to any place, underline the place you are rounding to, then circle the number to the right. That's the neighbor. If the number you circled is 4 or less, let it rest. Keep the underlined number the same and turn all of the numbers to the right of the circled numbers into zeros. So much easier to look at this example. When it's 5 or more, if your neighbor is 5 or more, then you're going to raise the score. So let's look at the example. We're going to round 34,265 to the nearest hundred. Here's the hundred place where the 2 is. Let's look at the neighbor, 6. It's 5 or more, it's higher than 5, so we are going to raise the score to the 100 place value. Our number is now 34,300. It might take a time or two to read this again, listen again, so we know the strategies to round. There is nothing that you have to do on this page or this page, your second page. These are just notes reminding you to read this again, to see if you have any questions. You can also use this text to speech on your Cami, and it will read the notes to you. Either way you choose. I don't want to skip perimeter for sure. To find the perimeter, remember P stands for perimeter. L is length plus L length plus W width plus W width. This is the formula that we have been using. Example, in this rectangle, here we have a width of 3 feet and our length of 10 feet. So we put 10 plus 10 plus 3 plus 3. You may be wondering where I got these extra numbers from. Remember, guys, this is a rectangle. So the opposite side is the exact same. So if this side is 10 feet, even though it doesn't say it, I know this side is 10 feet. If the side labeled as the width labeled as 3 feet, then this width has to be, 3 feet as well. So even when it doesn't say it, remember a perimeter has 2 sides that are the same. That's what makes it a rectangle. A rectangle has 2 sides that are the same. Now, here comes the work part, guys. For this study guide, if you work through it, you're going to be just fine. Let me know if you have any questions. Let's do the first two together. We are going to identify the value of the underlying digit in the following numbers. What is the value of the 2? The 2 is underlined, so we're finding the value of the 2 in the number 5,267. Use your T tool, your text box, to change the size. You can click on this down arrow. I'm going to choose 24. Now back to my value. The value of the underlying digit is 2. It stays the same. The digits after it become 0. The value of the 2 is 200. My 2 stayed the same. The digits after it became 0. What about the value of the 2 in 7,322? This first 2 was underlined. The value of that 2, the 2 stays the same. The digit after it is now a 0. Keep going for these last 3. We're not changing any numbers here. We're finding the value. If you scroll to the very top, you will see the value of a digit is how much a digit is worth. Let's keep going. Identify the place of the digit in the number 18,029. For place, we are thinking of ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s. So that's what I mean by place. For a reminder, the 9 is in the ones place. Then we have the 2 is in the tens place. You may have to go back to your place value chart. That's okay. So looking at the number 18,029, the 8 is in the, yes, thousands place. Compare the following numbers using greater than, less than, or equal to. You all did an excellent job on greater than, less than, and equal to, so this part will be a breeze for you. If you need a reminder on which symbol is greater than, less than, or equal to, scroll back up to your notes, and you can see greater than is open to the left, less than is open to the right, and equal to two lines. Let's do one together. 265 is less than 341. Oh, that's really small. I'm going to change it. There we go, to 30. Round the following numbers. You're going to round to the nearest 100. Make sure you're reading the instructions. The next set is the nearest 1,000, then 10,000, then 100,000. You will need your place value chart as a reminder. But let's do the first one together. Round the following numbers to the nearest 100. I'm going to look at my 100, underline it, circle my neighbor. Here's my neighbor, the 5. That 5, the number next to it, my neighbor, is 5 or more. I'm going to raise the score. So now I have 2,700. That 6 had to become 7. It may help to look at your rounding notes on that first page, how to round. And as you can see, if the number you circled is 4 or less, let it rest. If it's 5 or more, you're going to add 1 more. Your next number here is round the following numbers to the nearest 1,000. Well, we are going to underline the place that we're looking at. And in this case, it is our nearest 1,000. So I'm going to underline 1,000. My neighbor is 9. So my 9 is going to determine if I'm going to raise the score or let it rest. Is 9 5 or more? Yes, it is. So in that case, I'm going to round up. And my 8 is now a 9. Everything else becomes 0. Now the nearest 10,000. Where is the 10,000th place? Where is my neighbor? Do I need to raise the score or let it rest? Remember, use your notes for a reminder. Estimate and then solve using U.S. traditional addition. And here we're going to show our work. What I mean by showing your work is show me how you are lining up your digits. So if you're adding 225 plus 991, show your work. Line up your digits. Use your drawing tool as your equal sign and your plus. We're always starting with our ones column. 5 plus 1 equals 6. 2 plus 9 equals, 11. Carrying my 1. 1 plus 2 equals 3. And 3 plus 9 equals, 12. So my answer is 1,216. That's my answer. Now the second part is asking me for an estimate. You can do this a couple of different ways. And I want you to show me your estimate. Show me your estimate on your paper. So for 225, are you going to, we can use front-end estimation. With front-end estimation, remember, we're using the first digit here, the highest place value. We're not rounding. We're just looking at these first numbers. So I would add 200 because 2 is my first number, plus 900. I'm not rounding. I'm just using my first numbers. That would be 1100. Or you can also think, what number is this close to? 225 is close to 200. 991 is close to 1,000. So use the estimation of your choice, but whatever you use, show your work. For me, I'm using front end estimation. 200 plus 900 equals 1,100. Continue the last addition problem and then do the same for subtraction. Show your work and then show me your estimate. I want to see how you are estimating. Your estimate will also tell you if your answer is close or if it's about right. Speaking of estimates, Malia went to the bookstore on Friday and bought 23 books. On Saturday, she went back and bought another 45 books. And on Sunday, she went back again and got another 127 books. She wanted to give 250 books to her local school. Without solving, you're not solving yet. You're not solving. Did Malia buy enough books to give to the local school? We are going to use an estimation strategy. 23 is close to the number 20. 45 is close to 50. 127 is close to, you could say 100 or 130. Keep using your tens place. Completely up to you. So without solving, we're only estimating. Again, I am going to go with front end estimation. I'm going to use the first digit. 2, 4, that stays the same, and that'll stay the same. So in my head, I'm going to add 20 plus 40 equals 60. 127 to 100. I'm just using the first digit. Everything else becomes 0. So 100 plus 40 plus 20 equals 160. But without solving this, I'm going to say no, she did not buy enough books. The next part is where you have to explain it. Using front-end estimation, I use the first digit, or I'll round it to the nearest 10. Your estimation strategy is completely up to you. After you write how you know, I'm going to erase this, and you explain your strategy, whether it's front-end estimation or rounding to the nearest 10, I want you to tell me what you did. What that looks like. I know that Malia did not buy enough books because I rounded each number using front end estimation, and the answer was less than 250. That's my answer. I use front end estimation. So I'm explaining why Malia did not have enough money. Now, find the exact number of books. When you're looking at exact number, that means you are adding all three numbers together. You're adding 127 plus 45 plus 23. What's the exact number? You're writing it on this line. Look back at your estimate. Does your answer make sense? You're telling me on this line. Keep going. You are almost to the finish line. We're going to convert from yards to feet. From yards to feet. To help us convert, here's a quick reminder. 3 feet equals 1 yard. And just for the record, we should probably know and remember that 12 inches equals 1 foot. We don't need it for this assignment, but we do need the knowledge for this unit. So make sure that you know 3 feet equals 1 yard and 12 inches equals 1 foot. You may have to go back to your notes. Completely okay. 1 yard equals how many feet? 1 yard equals, yes, 3 feet. What if I have 4 yards? How can I determine how many feet are in 4 yards? If every yard equals 3 feet, how can I determine how many feet are in 4 yards? Absolutely. I'm going to multiply. What I mean by that is it doesn't matter how many yards you have. You're always going to multiply it by 3. Why? Because there are 3 feet in every yard. So if you have 2 yards, there are 6 feet. And you would keep going. If I have 4 yards, you're going to multiply 4 times what? 4 times 3. 4 times 3 because of the 3 feet in a yard. And we know that's 12. You are going to continue to find how many feet are in 12 yards, how many feet are in 15 yards, how many feet are in 20 yards. Explain how you figured out how many feet are in 20 yards. Tell me your equation that you use to determine how many feet are in 20 yards. Moving on, circle all of the right angles and put a heart around all of the obtuse angles. Well, using our tools here, we don't have a heart. We only have a rectangle and a little ellipses. And we also have a triangle. So I'm going to circle all of my right angles. We can still use that with our ellipse. And remember, our right angles are 90 degrees. Our right angles are 90 degrees. If you need a reminder, scroll up to your notes. And a right angle is 90 degrees, shaped like an L. Greater than 90 degrees is larger than an L. And less than 90 degrees is less than an L. So think of 90 degrees as an L. That's your base point for a right angle. Then you're going to ask yourself, is this angle larger than an L or smaller than an L? Let's go back to our shape. Going back to our shape. Okay. If you like, you can also go ahead and draw just where your angles are. So you know, there are my angles. There's an angle. There's an angle. There's an angle. Wherever your 2 lines meet, those are your angles. Do you remember what this is called? The point here? Yes, it is called your vertex. The point where they meet is called your vertex. Very good, guys. Way to remember. So I want you to label your right angles and your obtuse angles. Finally, find the perimeter of this rectangle. We talked a little about perimeter yesterday as a refresher. And just a reminder, the formula for perimeter is P equals L, length plus width plus width. So at this time, find the perimeter of this rectangle and explain how you found the perimeter. When you are finished, send me an email. Here is my email, tadams6331@pcssd.org. Send me an email to let me know that you are finished, and I will send you the answer key so you can see if you are correct or not. We are getting ready for Thursday's test, and this is a refresher. So send me an email, and I will send you the answer key if you would like, so you are able to compare. You may also ask your neighbors questions in the chat. If you have any other questions, email me as well. Have an absolute excellent Wednesday, and I will see you tomorrow.